Alright folks, we're back here again this evening. We're going to try to do the dill pickles. I went out this morning, I picked a bunch, and it's late this evening now. We've had a lot going on here today, and plus my battery was dead on my camera, so I had to wait on it to charge up. But I've got my water heating on the stove, and we're going to mix up our brine, and we'll get some things together. I'll show you the cucumbers here that I have. Let me move this. You can see right here, these are what I like. You can see relation to my hand there. And what I'm going to do, we're going to wash these and get them ready. And probably these larger ones we'll put on the bottom of the jar. I've got a quart jar, and the smaller ones will try to work out on top. So let me get some more things together and we'll get right back to it. Okay, we have measured out 3 cups of water. I've already put that in there. Let me bring you over here to the stove so you can see what I'm doing here. And I wished I'm gonna have to hire me a cameraman. Now I'm gonna use white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, as long as it's at least 5% acidity. And either one will work here. But I'm using white vinegar. And we're gonna measure out 3 cups. You put 3 cups of water and 3 cups of vinegar. It's equal amounts. And we want to get this hot. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on high. Let me put my vinegar up right quick. And you always want to use canning salt. I use this here, Morton's canning salt, so you can see it there. It's always worked good for me. It doesn't have the additives in it to keep it from clumping. It's just pure salt, that's all it is. So I'm going to try to do this and not pour it everywhere. There's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to make this one a shy of 4, because I put a little extra in there. Okay, now that's the brine. Now I'm going to put a lid on this, and we'll get to doing some other things. I need lay that right there. I'll show you what else we're going to do here. Okay, let me spin the camera around so you can see what we're doing. Hopefully I won't be in the way. Alright. I'm going to bring the cucumbers over here. I want some warm water, and take just a little bit of your salt. Don't take much. Put that in your rinse water. And these little cucumbers, it'll help cut any grit or anything like that. So take it right off. You want to get these blossoms off. Now, I'm going to pickle these whole. If I was cutting them up, or if they were larger, you would need to cut this end off right here, that blossom end. You need to trim that off. But these usually don't have enough time to stay in the jar to worry about breaking down. But I want to take and just run my fingers over them, get the little blackheads off of them. And we're going to put them over there and rinse them off. Alright, that'll feel pretty good. And this recipe is not my recipe. There was a little lady that we knew when we lived in Albemarle. She shared this with us, and I believe she's gone on to be with the Lord now. But she brought me a jar of her pickles one time, and I said, Lord, those are the best pickles I've had since my childhood. And I asked her for the recipe, and she gladly shared it with us. And we've been making them ever since. That's how I was introduced to growing dill and doing it the old-fashioned way. But you want to get the grit and stuff. But I've got the recipe that she shared with me. I think it may be a photocopy. The original's probably put up somewhere. But I took a picture of it on my phone, and I hope to get it in this video. So it'll either be at the front or it'll be at the end of it. I don't remember. Know exactly how I'm going to set it up when I get a chance to get this edited. And there's a lot of work in that. Spend more time doing that than I do the video. But, okay. Good thing to have a garbage disposal to get rid of your junk. Alright, I need me a bowl or something to put those in. Once I get them rinsed off. But I've made pickles, you know, out of larger cucumbers, and then slice them up, you know, like for hamburgers. You can do that. And I've also made spears out of it, and that's another way you can do it. But what I was going to say, when I cut them, I like to soak them in pickling lime. Make sure you use pickling lime. And I can't remember, it seemed like you might could do it overnight or at least 3 hours. I can't remember, it's been so long since I've done any that way. But you take and soak them in the pickling lime for however long it is. And then after you do that, you need to rinse those things at least 3 to 4 times, if not more. And I rinse them in good cold water and get all that. But you got to be careful with them because they are brittle and they'll break. I mean, it'll make them crispy, I promise you that. And then once you get that step done, then you can continue to the step that I'm showing you now. But it will keep your pickles crispy. And there is a thing called pickle crisp. I've never used it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how it works or anything like that. Okay, we're going to move back to the island bar here. I've got a little bit of a mess. Let me clean that up right quick. And try to clean up as I go, and that way you don't have such a big mess. Alright, I've got my jar. Alright, our brine's boiling, so I'm going to turn it down. And you can smell the vinegar. I've got my jar heating up in the pot over here on the stove. Swinging around here so you can see the brine's boiling. So I just turned it down, and I've got my jar heating up in here. So I'm going to take it out, and we're going to come back here to the bar, and you can watch me set this jar of pickles up. I can get it out. Not get hurt. I might better do this a different way. These work real great for lifting the jar out of, I let it laying on its side. Just be careful, you've got metal touching glass, so you don't want to chip it. Okay, now, I think the recipe, I have it right here. It's a half a teaspoon. Oh, and I need something else that I had forgotten about. It's a half a teaspoon. You could go a little more if you want to. I might. I'll go about 3/4 of a teaspoon. But I got to put a clove of garlic in here. So I'm going to stop and I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, I'm back. I'm going to just split that gentleman. Probably a little more garlic. One little clove's all you need. That one's just one great big one. So, alright. I'm gonna, these are heads of I picked these this morning. They kind of wilted a little bit, but you can still smell it. Okay, we're going to drop that down in there. And now, I'm going to take and stand it up. I put the bloom end down. This is just how I do it. And if somebody out there can share with me why dill pickles are always stood up in the jar and sweet pickles are not, I would love to know the why on that. I found out not long ago that guy said, I know those was dill pickles just because of the way they were in the jar. Okay, that's a loose half fill. We might try to stick one more right there. Now I'm going to got 2 more little heads I'm going to drop in there. And then we're going to put these in here. Keep standing them up. I even won a blue ribbon at the county fair. Not here where I live now, but where I was living. I don't know what I've done with them. Alright, these are, it's not going to be a tight jar. I have packed them in a lot tighter than this, but that's all I have for that. Okay, let me get my funnel here. And we're going to swing around back to the stove. And I am going to, I'll show you something else here. Get you up as close as I can. This is a hot job here. Get the ladle. And when you make this brine up, just like I'm doing just one jar, and you'll have brine left over, don't throw that out, because as your cucumbers come in, you can heat this right back up, and but it, you know, it'll keep. It's not going to go nowhere. It's not going to spoil. But just fill that right up to the cover your pickles, cucumbers, which is roughly about a 1/2 inch. And I don't have no feeling in the tips of my fingers anymore, so don't matter. Alright, let me get my lid. And we're going to seal this gentleman up. You know what I didn't do? I did not wipe this off. And it would be this be the one that would get me. Take this lid, swipe it down too. Alright. I'm going to set it in my hot water bath over here. I've got a little, this is kind of a makeshift, that's technically not a canner. Cut that off, bump that up just a hair. I've got a little platform in there out of my pressure cooker that I set on the bottom for that to rest on. But now we will process quarts 5 minutes in a boiling water bath. You want to leave a 1/2 inch head space, which is pretty close to what I left. But when that comes to a boil, count 5 minutes and let it cool, and you got a jar of dill pickles. Now I will say this, I let mine set for about, I don't know, a month before I want to start eating them, because that way you can give the flavors time to infuse the cucumbers, and that, I think it does make them taste better. When the weather changes, like now it's, you know, the middle of summer, but when the weather changes and it starts cooling off around September, October, that's when they're just right. So anyway, I hope this will be a help. If you have any questions, just leave some comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe if this is your kind of thing here that you like. And we hope that this will be a help to somebody to learn how to make homemade dill pickles. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.